It's the Standard Pauper Show. It's a show about Standard Pauper. Hello, everybody. It's me, Brennan, your lovable host. With me, as always, is Sam. Say hello, Sam.
Hello, everybody.
Well, like the past few weeks, we got some PREs and some leagues and all that goodness to discuss. But first, let's talk about what happened this past Sunday on the SPDC. SPDC 2708, another Standard Pauper, 9 players, 100% reported. Thank you all for reporting. 3-round Swiss top 4 playoff. Dr. Baker is number 1 with his BOROS deck. There's also the second place, Beatnik Bobby, with his MonoBlack Splash for Cruise. A black-white control by Flying Men. And Izzet tokens. Yay, tokens. And by tokens, what they mean is eagles and minotaurs. Or at least that's what I've seen.
Yeah, and as far as I know, Voyage's End is still bugged on miniature tokens. So
makes the game crash.
Yeah, if you Voyage's End your opponent's Minotaur token, it will disconnect them from the server.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it got broken when they did the server updates last Wednesday. Because I happened to pop on and watch Avery61 play his matchup against, I can't remember who was playing for the third week of the league, and they were playing the mirror. And bounce is really important in the mirror, so every time they would cast a Voyage's End, like I sat there and watched 2 of the games, and there was no less than like 12 disconnects in each game. It was just insane. So
that's ridiculous.
So yeah, use it responsibly. Don't over abuse that. So
so sad.
Yes.
Well, the winning deck is the Boroic, or BOROS Heroic, as Dr. Baker calls it. He went 5-0, which is pretty good. Creatures. You got your Akroan Crusader, Skyguard, Jeskai Student, Wingsteed Rider, and Lagana Band Trailblazer. They all laughed at me, Sam, when I said that was a good card. They all laughed.
I laughed.
But I showed you.
Yes.
Anyway, spells chosen by Heliod. 4 of those. 4 Defiant Strike, 4 Dragon Mantle, 4 Feet of Resistance, and 4 God's Willing. Lots of protection. Some cantrip action there to trigger that heroic and prowess. Inferno Fist, 2 of those. Lands, 6 plains, 5 mountains, 4 evolving, 4 Windscarred Crag. Sideboard is removal.
Yes.
4 Pillar of Light, 3 Scouring Sands, 3 Lightning. There's 3 Hopeful Eidolon, which is pretty nice. And 2 Fall of the Hammer, which might be Heroic's best friend. It's pretty cool.
Yep.
All right. Let's look at an opening hand. You got a Plains. It's always good to start off with something. Defiant Strike, not bad. Lagana, my personal favorite. Feet of Resistance, which is a great card. Inferno Fist, also pretty good. Enchant with a shock attached. Jeskai Student, trigger that prowess. And a Crowan Skyguard. What are we missing from this hand?
Need a second land, but it's not too bad because you do have the Trailblazer turn 1, Defiant Strike turn 2 to try to draw
Right.
a land and then get in there for some damage. It's a shaky keep, but in a really aggressive deck only playing 19 lands, I think you have to risk that.
Yeah, and here, let's look at this. Look at that. That's on a curve. Look at that tower.
Yeah.
It is all 1-drops and 2-drops. So really, the 4-drop is the Wingsteed Rider.
Yeah, the only 3-drop.
4 3-drops.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm gonna keep Because if nothing else, I figure at least I have a good chance of getting a 1-drop.
Yes.
To play that as well. Alright. So let's see if we are rewarded for our shaky keep. Okay. Off the top we get... Yay! Evolving Wilds. Shaky keep rewarded.
Yes, it is.
So that's pretty cool. Wingsteed Rider, that's not really what you want to see, but you have 2 lands, so what do you care, really? Windscar Crag, another good land.
Excellent.
I love it. We'll gain some life. Another Plains. Wait a minute. I think we prayed a little too hard for land.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. We got ourselves a Flood, y'all. And a Dragon Mantle. But this is what comes straight off the top. A couple of things that you probably must take into consideration the fact that this Evolving Wild will shuffle what we see here. But as a representation of what the next 6 could be, statistically, this should be accurate. So
yeah, maybe one land here more than what should show up at night.
Yeah, 19. Yeah, 19 lands is pretty sparse, but Pauper has historically been land greedy.
I think you still have enough gas in your opener to at least be able to keep drawing some extra cards going into the mid game. So I think I think it's pretty decent. So
yeah, I don't regret keeping. I think it was a little risky, but I think the risk was minimal.
Right, and you do have a decent amount of drawing into more cantrips to draw some extra cards. He is running 12.
It's true. So. Very, very true. All right. The League. Well, I did terrible. Did you play your week 4?
No, I am playing noon on Thursday, so if anybody listening wants to come and watch, it'll be in the Just for Fun room. Okay. Noon my time, 4 o'clock in the afternoon my opponent's time. And this is a good spot. I want to give a shout out to Roberto, our Remedio down in South America, for helping me set up my match. It's the first time in 3 leagues that I've ran into a language barrier setting my match up.
No.
So he was very kind to help me. One of his fellow Brazilians. And I was like, hey, I need some help. And he's like, yeah, Sam, no problem. So that was really kind of him. So thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. He was my week 4. We were playing for bottom 2. Yay, we were both 0-3.
And it's very strange because both of you are very big proponents of the format.
Yes, I know.
A very, very odd bottom 2 because I kind of expected you guys to be in the top. So,
what are you gonna do?
That's the joy of the league. I mean, the Silver Black League, the first league, I won 1 match. So,
oh no!
And I was like, I love this format, and then I ended up just completely punting pretty much every match. So.
Oh well, yeah.
Yep.
He won. It was 1-2. He won the first. I won the second, and he won the last.
What were you guys playing?
I was playing the Mono White Heroic Renaissance.
Oh, okay.
And I'm trying to remember what he was playing. He had tokens. I want to say it was the UR tokens. I can't remember now. It's either UR tokens or BOROS tokens.
And I'm sure he'll comment. He's a pretty decent mid-range player, so something like that. So
nope, he did good. The first match first game of our match, he was down to 4 life, but still came back to win, so it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't begrudge him his win. He's a great player.
Absolutely.
All right. Again, it's another reminder. F&M time. You take the pictures, the videos. I'll post them up. Everybody can play Standard Pauper. It's a great format. It's a great way to begin. I'll help out your store too as much as I can. I am not I'm not a famous person, but some people listen. So hey, some's better than none. I'll tweet out as many links as I can. So, next step is to talk about the Pauper Gauntlet. Let me see if I can get Dan on the phone. Dan, do you read me?
Hej Brännon, din gamle pirat.
Uh-oh. Gotta switch on my universal translator.
Okay, don't do that.
All right. Hey, Dan.
Hi there.
How's it going?
It's well, but where's Sam?
Sam?
I'm here.
Oh, there's Sam.
Oh, so relieved.
Yeah, it's scary if it's just the two of us. I don't even know what to do.
Yeah.
All right. We were just talking about leagues. Did you play your league match this week?
Yes, I did.
And how did you do?
I won, so I ended up 2-2 after an initial really bad opening.
Yeah, I went 4-0. I mean, 0-4. That's
Yeah.
where I went.
And I'm playing for 4-0 on Thursday.
Oh, snap. At least one of us is.
Yep.
What did you play, Sam?
I've played week 1. I played red, white, and blue heroic prowess. Week 2, I played red, white heroic, and then week 3, I played against an opponent who did not show up. So week 4, I'm playing a heavily metagamed deck that I'm not going to talk about until after my match. So,
that's okay.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Because I think I have an idea of what my opponent's playing, so...
Uh-oh.
Yeah, because I randomly
gamesmanship.
played him. I randomly played him last week, so we shall see. So
Oh, there we go.
I played the same deck every round.
which was
It's at cruise control.
oh yeah, the tokens.
Yes.
Yep, it's a good deck.
It is a very good deck. So
Yeah, and I felt that the small amount of experience I got by playing the same deck was worth it. Instead of trying to shift to some other deck.
Yeah, I shifted. I get bored easily.
I did. Even in week 3, I was going to play a different deck if my opponent actually showed up. So
All right. Well, Dan, looks like round 5 has ended.
It has.
So let's talk about how these matches wound up.
Well, we ended up with a straight 2-1 win rate, so 20 wins, 10 losses.
That's crazy, but awesome.
I think we can expect that kind of win rate from now on, and maybe even higher, because now we have the really good decks left, and some others, perhaps.
You do have good decks. First one up, this first match was Persistently Undying. Man, it died.
It died. It had undied and persisted, and now it died.
Right. Yeah, you're against Izzet cruise control. It could not keep up. There's just
so many cards.
Yes. You were up against the wall. Card advantage was strong with your opponent. Not much you could do. All right. Next one. Green Grifters. This one ended weirdly, but hey, that's the Gauntlet. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, it ended prematurely.
It did, but again, that randomness is part of
Very
what...
prematurely. It was the super prematurely one. Like the opponent never showed up.
You just waited him out 10 minutes.
There is after the Gauntlet is done, we will do an evaluation of the Gauntlet, and we did that last year, and that led to this Gauntlet. And that will be public, and we'll talk about the Gauntlet, and maybe there should be a rule that at least a card has to be played. But there's still 10 wasted minutes, and one of the main reasons that I started the Gauntlet at one point was to avoid people wasting my time by quitting in the tournament practice room.
Right.
So, in the spirit of the rules as they now stand, the Green Grifters get to go on because this guy at least started a match with me and then immediately ran away.
Right. I that's something I'll never understand. But
maybe he had a power outage or
something.
An avalanche came in through his window. Wild bears attacked him.
Wild bears.
You're getting less and less likely after each thing, Dan.
So you think the avalanche is more likely than the bears?
There used to be a beer commercial here in the U.S. and it was basically, I think it was it Miller Lite? I think it was Miller Lite, and they had a commercial that said, "Do you need the Miller Lite hotline?" And it has his wife come out and said, "Honey, are you getting dressed? We got to go to my sister's dinner rehearsal for the wedding." And he's like, So he picks up the phone, calls Miller Lite, and says, "I have a problem. Dinner rehearsal." And he gives the address. He hangs up, and then it shows like 10 minutes later, the wife comes out and goes, "Honey, there's a problem with the dinner rehearsal." And then you see it cuts to dinner rehearsal, and there's Vikings jumping into the windows and busting down the doors and just destroying the dinner party. And she goes, "Can you believe Vikings?" And the guy looks at the camera and goes, Vikings, and then picks up his Miller Lite and starts drinking. And you remind me of that commercial, Dan.
Yeah, maybe that happened to the guy. So
yeah.
We should not blame him.
Vikings were called in.
Bears.
And bears on top of Vikings riding atop bears. That's awesome.
Yeah, that happens to every other party here in Sweden.
I can only imagine. All right. Next one. Azorius Kitty versus MonoBlack Control. Azorius Kitty timed him out.
Yep.
Beautiful.
It was rough, I remember. It was...
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the matchup that Azorius Kitty should win, but it was close.
It was close. There were so many times where they seemed to keep getting exactly what they needed every time.
It seemed like he was a really slow player, though. Yeah.
He was.
That's not really all that great. I mean, it's not the most thought-intensive deck to play either, so... but if I can remember correctly, Dan just kind of was just able to stay in it all the way through. So,
yeah, you caught on to his, I don't know, the way he plays the game, and you just kind of worked around, and you weren't trying to be too aggressive. Except one time, I do remember where I think it was this match where you said, "In this match, I'm not the aggressor," and then you kept attacking, and I was like, "What? what are you doing?" Okay, Dan. Are you trying to throw him off? He can't hear you.
I might have been in such a good spot that I could attack anyway, or was I being really aggressive? I can't remember.
Yeah,
unfortunately, I can't really remember the nuts and bolts of it either. I do remember thinking Stinkweed Imp is a very strange card in MonoBlack Control. That's something you see very often.
Yeah,
it's just sneaking in there.
Yeah.
I think it's anti-Delver, but it's so expensive, so it doesn't really...
Right.
I mean, you could be pretty much dead turn 3 against Delver. I mean, so... Just an odd card out, so...
Yeah.
Very much so.
It is strange. All right, let's look at this next one. Tortured Toolbox.
Tortured Toolbox.
And you won. Yeah.
I sure did.
This is the one, okay, during this match, there were so many times where you came close to decking yourself, and I did not understand why you didn't keep throwing cards back into your deck using the, what's this guy, this green guy? You had
Battlefield Scrounger.
Yeah, Battlefield Scrounger. You had him out, and yet there was no, you had opportunities.
Did I actually deck at some point?
Yeah, on the game 2. This was game 3.
Yeah, I think at that point I missed it, but in the last match, I knew I had it, but the time was so short.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I almost timed out there. It was the closest I got to timing out.
I mean, and I wish, and I know Brennan, you did an amazing job doing the dub over, but I wish that there was audio from you, Dan, on this match, because the mouse was all over the place, your pointer was all over the place. I knew there was good stuff you were talking about. So
Yeah, there was.
very disappointing, because it was, in my opinion, the best match of the round.
I was really proud that I won it.
Yeah, no. I mean, every card seemed to do work for the most part, so I'm glad I submitted that build. I actually think it's pretty decent, so...
It is. Two videos suffered an error by my Blow Snowball microphone because it sort of disconnects itself.
It's crazy.
Cord jumps out of the microphone if you move it on the table, and sometimes you don't notice it. So I had the help of Brandon then in making commentary for Torture Toolbox and Green One for this round. Thank you, Brandon.
Oh, no problem. It's been a while.
I think watching this video with your commentary was my favorite video of this round.
Awesome.
I like the fact that the national pastime in Sweden is Dan riding his bike and racquetball or handball.
No, handball.
Sorry. I get them mixed up
That's
in
not,
my brain.
That's
anyway.
not real. Handball's
no,
not
I
real.
think the biggest sports here are soccer, hockey, and riding. Horses.
Horses, really? Cool.
Yeah, there's
I thought you said
a lot of horses in this country.
Orcas. Yes, right.
Orcas. Yeah, they are very expensive. You have those Greenpeace idiots showing up whenever you ride your orcas.
Yeah, these giant underwater stables that you keep your orcas in.
They're really expensive.
You ride them up to beach saloons and tie them off.
Yeah, the water is freezing, and maybe it'll take off soon.
Right. Yeah, MonoBlack land destruction versus Affinity. Man,
this is really hard for MonoBlack land destruction. The first match is extremely difficult. But you know what I did in the first match? The first duel, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I destroyed his lands.
You
so
did.
You couldn't place 4/4s.
It was funny. When you went to sideboarding, you're like, well, land destruction won that one, but we're taking it all out.
Yeah, it's like 13 cards or something you take out.
Yeah. I was
become a MonoBlack control deck.
Yeah, I had a little conversation with Power T, actually, and I brought this deck up specifically because he got on to me for not watching sideboardings during videos.
Yeah, I remember.
And I was like, well, yeah, I know it's important. And I said, I kind of gave my reasons why, basically showing that I know it's important, but also pointing out that some of my favorite sideboarding, this deck right here, by far, is my favorite sideboard tech. It's just...
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, just the overall... The overall versatility is amazing.
Yeah, against aggressive decks, we just go into a control shell.
Yep.
But the sideboard is also extremely interesting because it's all one-offs.
Exactly. There's so much. There's redundancy, except when you look at what the redundancy does, there's always like something added. Like there's another land destruction spell, but it also kills a creature. Things like
Befoul.
that. Yeah, Befoul.
Yeah, they in the more obscure matchups, all these cards have their uses as well. So it's extremely well thought out.
It's great.
But I think I lucked out here as well because this is really one of the tougher matchups for the deck because if Affinity gets going, it's you know what it does.
It
will bowl you over.
Yes, and you don't have all the removal that you should have, even with the 13 card sideboarding. You're not a true MonoBlack control deck. You don't have 4 gray merchants.
Yeah. Because there's just not enough room in the switchover. But, no, it was a good match. So no rampant ATOG trickery. So
that's true.
Very good.
And also, you are totally open to fling, right? You have no counter spells.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
All you can do is try to duress it.
Yeah,
which I think I did here.
Yeah, you got out of fling, and it's exactly what you needed to do. What was I going to say? Someone said, I wish I could remember so I could quote them, but that sacrifice was the strongest effect in Magic, because one of the reasons is, especially when you're sacrificing like in fling, there is no chance for your opponent to respond to it. So if you want to sacrifice something, they can't do anything about it. They can't kill it in response to your sacrifice. Sacrifice is just one of those things like Morph that just happens.
Yep.
And just it's very powerful. So anyway,
fling really saves Affinity in a lot of
spots. Oh, exactly. So you beat a very powerful mechanic.
Yes.
So that's cool.
Next one.
Next one. Yep, Bugs and Pigs.
Bugs and Pigs.
Bugs and Pigs.
What was that? What's that a reference to? I didn't catch it.
I'm trying to say pigs in space.
Oh, yes. Muppets.
Muppets.
I love me some Muppets.
So this was really interesting until he quit.
Yeah, that's another thing. I mean, why?
It even looks really interesting on the... He's resolving a Muldrifter, though. That's bad for us. But I think I have a Grim Harvest, do I?
I think you did.
It was in there.
So this is not done by any stretch of the imagination, but he just went away and didn't come back.
I don't get it.
Avalanche.
I have to leave you now, Dan. I have to go away.
It is that time. We have reached the end of our journey.
There's one more ship, and it has to be destroyed also. Terminator 2. Okay.
Da-na-na, na-na-na.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, did you see the trailer for the new one?
No, I've been avoiding it.
I don't know, I kind of like it.
Ever since the McG abomination,
yeah,
I've been kind of just tired of it.
You just forget about that one. You just don't even think about it.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, I like it. It's got Khaleesi in it.
Khaleesi.
Yeah. She's in the next Terminator movie. She's Sarah Connor.
Wow, that's odd casting.
It is. They're starting completely over, basically.
Oh no.
Yep. Reese comes to save her, but no, she saves him. Dun,
that's
dun.
what they call a retcon, folks.
Yep.
So anyway, it looks. I don't know. It's cool.
I'll watch it.
Me too.
I'll watch.
Oh, and
the trailer.
it's got. She has her normal hair color. She's not oddly bleached blonde.
Arnold listed in the cast as well?
Yeah, it's him.
Oh.
He's the Terminator.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
I haven't.
Okay.
And if I'm reading it correctly, he gets sent way back, like is protecting Sarah for a long time. So he's basically aged, because the Terminator skin grows. So I think they're saying that he as a Terminator has aged this entire time, but I'm not sure.
That's an interesting way of writing the fact that he's very, very old at this point into the story. So that's pretty cool. So
yeah, that's
very cool. Especially as they did that strange thing in Terminator 4, was it? When you actually had a young Arnold in the movie. I can't understand how they did that.
Yeah, they're doing that again in this one because everybody thought that was neat. But some people hated it. I don't know. It's a movie. Just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Why do I... God, why...
Bugs and Pigs. This is Devil Children, right?
This is Devil's Children. God bless America.
So everything about that slide is a lie.
It's a lie.
Government propaganda.
Yes. It's all lies. Here. MonoBlack. Devil Children. Swear to God. And here is Devil Children versus... Why didn't you stop me? This is Affinity. I was right here, and you guys let me do it.
I didn't even think about it. Sorry.
I wanted you to fail.
Clearly.
I didn't
you
notice
did.
it either.
Okay, here. Devil Children versus Affinity. I swear.
Are you sure?
I'm 100% positive.
Going to prove that Affinity has taken out a lot of decks this round.
More specifically,
ton.
Iridian has taken out a lot of decks with Affinity.
3 decks lost to Affinity.
So that's a huge percentage of the 10 decks. I mean, and he's a pretty decent Affinity player. Seems to get good draws pretty much across the board. So that's.
Is he placing in dailies?
The last time Tom the Scud does his weekly report, and it's in the top 5 most of the time. But I think it's still Delver and MonoBlack, and then Familiars is coming on really strong right now. So,
but this particular player, is he placing?
Oh, I haven't seen him on the list. So.
He felt really good. He seemed to know.
Yeah.
And in this match, it was just embarrassing.
Right.
I was so crushed.
When you play him later on, and I forget which deck, or you played him at some point, and he starts using the Relic of Virginitas against himself to prevent you from Crypt Incursioning him. I thought that was pretty good.
Yep.
I was like, that's wise.
Wait, did he take out Teachings?
Well, I think we're getting there.
I guess we're going to get there, because that's really the only deck left in the Gauntlet that runs Crypt Incursion.
Yep, Devil Children Spy. Let's look.
By Devil Children. You never got to combo out.
Here it is again, just so we can relive it for some reason.
Devil Children lost to Affinity.
Alright. Bant Presence versus Azorius Borderpost?
Yes.
So, by far, I think that's the weirdest roguey deck that you played against this round. That Borderpost deck was very strange. You don't see the Borderpost very often.
There's a reason.
I mean, it was actually, I think it was an Esper deck, wasn't it?
Yeah, because there was black in it.
Yeah,
that's true.
It's hard to make the post deck with 2 colors.
Yeah, you definitely need.
That's right. It was very strange, and I sort of didn't understand it at all. But it seemed good.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that first round he did pretty good stuff, but then quit.
Yeah.
Quitters.
To the benefit of Bant Presence.
Alright, so Bant Presence moves on. Round 6.
Sure does. And I think it is...
Here it is. Yep.
Oh, there it is. Sorry, Obsan.
Yeah. But
few brewers have given me so much help, and without having to do it, that Obsan did.
Yeah, he's a super detail-oriented player. He's helped me out with the deck. I think he's actually kind of moved on to white-blue Tron currently, so
yes,
that deck's putting up some good results right now. So,
but and I can't help but think that a really good Teachings player could have won this match. But I did not manage to control this Affinity deck.
Yeah, he was waiting for you to tap out so he could double Galvanic Blast you.
Yep. And I was always Affinity has so much card draw that it's hard to sit back and just out-card them like you do with all other aggro decks.
Yeah, because they have several ways of just gaining more and more cards.
Not only that, but I think I saw him Perilous Research a creature in response to removal in 2 different games.
Yeah, he did that. He did basically anytime you were trying to do something like that, he would try to destroy it out from under you.
Yeah, so I mean, he's a good Affinity player. And even though Teachings typically has a pretty decent match against Affinity, I just think sometimes Affinity just does its thing. I mean, it's a hard deck to beat.
Yeah, and as soon as you stumble on mana, if you can't get the land every turn, for the first 5 at least, you could be in deep trouble.
Yeah, it's such a tough matchup. All right, there's a big old
really
X
sorry
on
to
that
see
one.
Teachings go. Teachings was the favorite of many people, the top 1 deck in many people's opinion, but it's gone.
It is.
And remember, this is round 5, so there's no way to come back.
No way. Goodbye, Teachings.
Let's talk about Grey Mercenaries of Asphodel versus Affinity. Oh my god, Iridian again? Who'd have thought it?
He did a number on me this round.
Yeah, he did. This makes me sad.
Yes.
This is. I'm going to stop pick. When you ask me, I'm just going to abstain from picking any more decks. Because every time I pick a deck, it goes out the next round. So.
And I got to have this beautiful round, this beautiful duel against him, where I actually mercenaried out.
Yeah,
but it was hard to. He just ran over me.
He did, and in this one he also, I want to say, sacrificed when you tried to tendrils like twice.
Yes.
So
yeah,
that's a tough one, pal. Not much you can do about that. Bye, Grey Mercenaries. You were a cool deck.
You were very cool.
Let's look at this.
Yeah, this was one of the decks you could never expect even that somebody would submit. But
right, there it was and it made it to round 5. Yeah. It's awesome.
And 47 decks did not.
That's right.
Now we have DelverFiend.
This is the match in the round that Dan felt the most hopeless and still
right. I was like, Dan, do not give up. Don't give up. And you're like, oh, well, DelverFiend's kicked out. And I was like, no, Dan, no. It's not over yet. Don't give up.
Yeah, somehow his defenses didn't last. And the ability to hit people for 17 out of nowhere is pretty powerful.
Yo, that's very strong.
And not Rift Ball, Shadow Rift?
Yeah.
Yes.
The blue cantrip that grants Shadow. Such a strong card in that deck. Just crazy. Every time you played it, I was like, "Yeah, Dan's gonna win." That's pretty much it. Like, just gross. It was gross, and like you look at that, he played 3 lone missionaries in that match, and you still have him at -4. That's just
he went up
crazy.
12.
Yeah, you pretty much only care about removal. The way to win against DelverFiend is to have a lot of removal, like Trinket.
Oh yeah, and he does not. I think he was running the Journeys and Javeliniers. That's pretty much it. So.
Yep. Well.
And DelverFiend, I think, has one of the strongest showings in the Gauntlet so far. Is it one lost duel? I don't think any deck is clean yet. I think every deck has lost 1 duel now. But I have to look that up.
No, I think it is. So that's it was kind of he was playing the Javeliniers.
This was the first duel lost. Sorry.
Okay.
You were saying?
No, please.
This was the first lost duel for DelverFiend. So DelverFiend is 10-1 at this point.
Not bad.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, and I love this build. It's by Farf. And it has no assault strokes. Yeah, it can't get double strike.
Yeah.
And instead it just has more card draw.
Which is not bad. I wonder if
the deck is 10-1 actually.
Which is that?
We'll talk about that when we come to
we'll come to it. Okay, sounds good. All right, let's look at Mono Red Ping
Oh.
versus Izzet Trinket Control.
Poor mono red ping.
Yeah, it made it this far, but this was the end of the line.
It felt like he was a drunk kitten batting around a ball of string.
Yeah. What was funny is when you were like, when you played that, who's that guy that's right there? The red pinger. It's just like the blue one.
The red pinger that looks just like the blue one.
Yeah, the original.
Yeah, the pyromancer.
Yeah. It's a prodigal sorcerer. So yeah, when you played that, you're like, ha, take that. I just thought that was hilarious. It was absolutely hopeless, but you're like, I'm gonna play this card, damn it.
I found 3 other decks that are 10-1 now, so 4 decks are 10-1. But we haven't talked about any of them.
Huh.
Okay.
Alright, well, goodbye, Mono Red Ping. You're an interesting deck.
Yeah, I think Mono Red Ping should be happy to make it to round 5.
Right. Unlike Mono Red Heroic, which is actually really strong.
Yes.
Cool. So
it just utterly crushed this opponent.
This Delver player seemed weird.
Yeah.
He reacted strangely to your spells, and I know that's kind of weird to say, but just about everything I would expect a Delver player to do, I just didn't see him do it, I don't know. Very strange Delver player.
Obviously not. Obviously, he was practicing with the deck and was quite unfamiliar with it.
Yeah. I think every round so far you've ran into somebody who's clearly net deck Delver and doesn't know their way around the deck yet. The popularity of the deck being the number one deck in the format makes it more likely that somebody's going to look it up to play in the dailies or whatever. So, but the Mono Red Heroic, most cards from Standard in the entire Gauntlet, it's the best part of Mono Red Heroic crammed with the best part of a Goblin build. So it's really strong. So, I like it. I think it's a good little deck. So I'm happy that it's made it this far.
I actually like this better than Goblins because with this deck you have less choices. This is just you have to attack with everything all the time.
That's
you're
your
faster
choice.
than every other deck.
Yeah, no, it's
go for it.
If you're blocking, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, I ran over elves in round 4, so even elves is not fast enough.
And that was a match that I was like, oh yeah, Dan, this is it for Mono Red. And no, he still just crushed it. So
yeah,
so I'm quite excited about this deck. Actually, it's a pity that every match is over in 10 minutes.
But yeah, it's really good. I thought you were conservative at times while playing this, where I would have been all, no, more, fire.
Yeah, I didn't want to get 2 for 1 by Delver.
Oh, and you clearly played it correctly.
No, actually, I got criticized for my mulligan decisions. There were a lot of decisions people didn't like, and I still crushed it. So I think there is room for improvement for me playing this deck.
Oh, I'm sure.
As well.
We can all improve our game.
But this is one of my top candidates for winning. Actually,
it's pretty good. It's a very fun build. Like you said, it has a few decisions that you need to make. Number 1 and 2 of those decisions are: should you attack now or should you attack now?
Now. Should you attack with everything all of the time, or should you attack with everything all of the time?
Yep. There it is. All right.
Oh, this was so sad.
Yes, you got beat by a princess, Dan. Princess Pepe.
Yeah. Princess Pepe.
She evicted you from her kingdom.
Yeah. Oh my god, Mana Burn. Maybe the most interesting decks of all in the Gauntlet. It's this complicated 4 Lava Axe to the head deck.
Right.
But as any burn deck, it had problems with Delver. And it had a marvelous sideboard plan. I think we switched out 10 cards or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it played huge early creatures instead. And that worked nicely. Duel 2, but then it didn't.
It seemed
Turns
like
out that playing 5 colors is sometimes hard.
It seemed like game 3 you just ran really land heavy and didn't draw much of anything really. And of course your opponent was flipping Delvers like a champ. So
Right.
I'm actually not that bothered by flipping Delvers with most decks that are left, but the problem is that when you play Delver turn 1 and then goes Cloud of Fairies into Spellstutter Sprite, that's hard to catch up with.
Yeah, a lot of people complain about Delver being overpowered, and I mean, it is a ridiculous card, but to me, the card I hate the most in Pauper is Cloud of Fairies.
Yep.
Like, bar none. Like, it's not even close.
Spellstutter Sprite.
But you
so
see,
much.
without Cloud of Fairies, Spellstutter Sprite's not nearly the pain in the ass.
Oh, it's still, though, it is.
Imagine if you replaced Cloud of Fairies with 4 Zephyr Sprites in this build.
Mm-hmm.
It loses a lot.
Yep. It does.
And I think it becomes a fairer deck.
I think we could all agree that the deck is highly annoying.
No, without a doubt.
I'm
surprised that Cloud of Fairies hasn't broken the format more than it has. It's in this deck, it's in Familiars.
It's in Familiars. Yeah, without it, Familiars, what does Familiars do?
Nothing.
And it's in Dog Biscuit's really dangerous enchantment build. And in some Mono Blue Tron builds, but I think it is the most broken card in Pauper at this point.
Yep, I agree. And to that, Mana Burn died. So sad. So sad, Mana Burn.
Yeah, that was sad.
And
what's next?
Let's look at it again. For some reason, Mana Burn died. I don't know why
Awesome.
it keeps, yeah. Ha ha ha. For the rub-ins. And Illusory Tricks versus Goblins. Ash picked a winner. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. That was an awesome Goblins build. Very token heavy. Very cool. He sacrificed the wrong things at least 3 times, I think. I thought that same thing. I was like, why are you sacrificing that? Don't do that. Yeah, so he played himself out of the game a little bit. But was this the gentleman you played that was incredibly funny in the chat?
Yep, he was drinking heavily. His last game for the evening.
He was quite awesome.
Sort of affected his play.
A little. Just a little.
He was very cordial about it.
Yes, he was. But yeah, no, his build is awesome. So definitely shows that there's a little originality left in the format. So, I mean, the Denizen, or the Foundry Shade Denizen with the Beetleback Chief with the, what's the card that produces the 2 Goblin token, or the 2 tokens? Dragon Fodder. Yeah, so very cool, pumping up the Denizen. So it just happened to meet a matchup that you can play a 1/5 for 2 mana, and it shut some stuff down with that. So,
oh yeah.
Actually, to comment on something you said there, one thing people say, and one thing I come to think about, is that if the Gauntlet has done nothing else, it has shown the diversity in Pauper. That people have thanked me for this being a great introduction, that there are actually other decks in the format.
Right.
Yeah, somebody actually tweeted about that today, and I retweeted it to that. They recommended somebody watch the Gauntlet because it's a great introduction to the format overall. So I thought that was very cool.
It's all Delver and MBC.
Yeah, it's not all Delver and MBC. It's Affinity too.
Clearly.
And Familiars.
All right. Let's see what we got next. Love Train versus Infect.
Yeah, I actually got so happy to I was so afraid of losing with all the votes back in the decks. So once these decks are voted back, people are quite attached to them. So
Right.
And this was a hard matchup. Infect could easily slip under the... What do I have against Infect? Like, you can't survive against Infect with walls. But it turns out that you can. So in the last duel, I was actually walling my way to victory.
Right.
So throw walls in front of Infect creatures until you have an active longbow and can just kill everything.
Yeah, and it worked.
Yeah, but there was no freed from the real action at all in this.
Nope, not even
this
once.
Match.
Yeah, you did Axebane Guardian even make an appearance?
Yeah, he was blocking Infect creatures.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a couple in play right there.
The Axebane.
Yeah,
oh, there they are.
The mana
okay.
from Axebane Guardian was super helpful.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, this was. Infect tends to make the match about Infect, and that was actually what happened here, for sure. And
So
I was
that's
surprised
cool.
that Love Train
Match.
could stop Infect.
I got to watch a little of that one live. I watched some of the second game, so that was pretty fun. So you didn't know that probably because when you drop in on a game, it doesn't necessarily alert you anymore.
Oh,
So-
didn't know that.
Yeah, so you probably didn't have your chat up, but I popped in, I watched a little, and I was like, I gotta go to bed. So I went to bed.
Up way too late.
Yeah, way too late.
For the people that watch the Gauntlet matches live, I should mention something now, because we go into weekly rounds now. I will try to play one round a week, and now that I do that, I will try to distribute the videos over the whole week. So I am scheduling the videos. Is that the right pronunciation of that word?
Yeah, scheduling
Yeah.
the videos. That's fine.
Scheduling or scheduling?
Yes.
We say scheduling, but
And the
I
UK
hear
is
it. I hear it
scheduling.
either. Yeah.
So,
I want to say
it's either.
scheduling. So I'm scheduling out the videos. I'm trying to at least 2 videos a day, and as much apart as they could probably come. So I'm playing the matches somewhat in advance. So if you watch a match and then it doesn't appear for 3 days, now you know why.
Ah.
But I think a steady stream of videos will be better.
Yeah.
I mean,
Also-
I didn't. I thought your upload schedule over the weekend was great because one in the morning, one in the evening, and like I watched the Love Train match on like Thursday, and you put it up yesterday on Monday our time. So
Yeah.
I thought it was a great way to get the videos out instead of having like 14 of them to watch in one day. So
This also means that I'm now publishing all the videos on MagicGatheringStrat, as we only have 20 decks left. So the only thing that will appear on SNG Prop for the foreseeable future is practice matches.
No, that makes sense.
So I will start playing practice matches, and for now I'm only playing the practice matches for fun. So I'm playing with the decks that sort of makes me the most happy. But eventually I will probably make whole practice rounds with every deck that is left, just because a week will be a very long time when we have 10 decks left.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I will speed up when there are like 4 decks left. But for now we will do one round a week, and that's a lot faster than what we have been going so far. It is round 13 that the format changes, and by now I'm pretty convinced that we will make it to round 13. Even though winning 13 matches in a row is a lot to ask of any deck.
It is quite a lot.
it is insane, but some of these could do it, I think.
Here, for example, is another 10-1 deck.
Green one?
Yes.
No way.
This was the first duel Green One lost.
Wow.
I mean, I just feel like every match you've played with the green one so far has been such like heavily skewed towards the green one just being fast and powerful and awesome that like I just haven't really felt any sort of trepidation about the green one losing yet. So It's a really strong deck. I think I actually like it better than the Stompy build that's in or was in.
It's definitely much simpler to play.
Yeah, no, it is.
Funny.
It's got a lot more kind of just play something, play rank, or win build to it. So it's really good, though. So I thought that matchup in particular was very, very cool. So yeah, you baited him into using his last red mana by playing the Rancor.
Oh, it was
and
genius.
Then won.
I loved it.
Yeah, so very, very cool.
Yeah, this is the other one that I voiced over. I put it up today. I don't know if you had a chance to listen. Okay.
I have not got to either.
So, one of the points I make is a lot of people call the spider, the Death Touch Reach. I can't think of its name offhand, but they call it the Green Doomblade.
Deadly Recluse.
Deadly Recluse, that's it. Yeah. And I was trying to think, what is Uktabi Drake? And someone called it like the green, I don't know, firebolt or something. I was like, but it's not, because what's a 1 mana sorcery speed 2 damage that you can only target a player? That card would be awful.
Yes.
But there's nothing. I mean, there's sorcery speed 2 damage all day long, but there's nothing that only targets players, only 1 mana, and only 2 damage. So, I don't know what to call it.
It does enable the Howl Pack.
Oh, it enables it so beautifully.
It does.
There were a couple of times where you were waiting. You waited just the right moment. You're like, I could do it now when he sacrifices, or when I, don't pay the echo. I assume that's what you said. That's what I said in my head.
Yeah. I think that when just having a hasty creature as well, it helps this deck a lot, because you're never safe.
Right. No, I like it.
Whereas against Stompy, you know that, okay, I can't die this round because I killed all his creatures. But against the green one, you're never safe, because if you play a late game Uktabi Drake and you have 2 Bone Splitters out and you have Rancor in hand, it's just a lot of damage coming very suddenly.
Right. Yeah. No, it's good. I enjoyed watching it. I'm glad I got to voice that one.
And late game when you're playing against the green one is like turn 3, turn 4. This match ended, I think, on turn 5, because if I remember right, your opponent didn't miss a land drop. You, of course, hit 3 because you're playing a deck with like 17 lands, but that's to be kind of expected. But very quick, I think this one was 14 minutes for the whole shebang. So that's kind of, I like the green one because I'm like, I could watch it during my 15-minute break at work. It's very nice.
Yes.
Yep, that's pretty cool. Okay, well.
So now I start playing round 6 with 20 decks. And if I'm playing well, we'll have 15 or so left for round 7.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, things will speed up now. And I know for a fact that at least 1, maybe 2 decks that are still in are not claimed in the competition.
What? Are you kidding?
No.
I say, if anybody's waiting for the last minute.
This is the last minute.
This is the last minute.
Hey, Dan, when do you, because I feel like it's coming up soon, when do you change rooms or switch
That's round 13.
Okay, round 13. Okay.
Yes.
I know it's coming up at some point, and I know hopefully it's going to happen this year, that you're going to still have some decks left at that point, so that's going to be pretty cool. So I hope everything wraps up before you hit the point where you have to stay up until the middle of the night to play in the weekend events, but because that's going to be really rough on you.
Yes.
Yeah. That'll show a level of commitment right there, man.
A level of being committed right there. So, hey, we should talk about it just kind of in passing because it's probably got a bunch of coverage. Modern Masters 2015. Hopefully they'll shift some more stuff down to common. So that'll be cool. So, because they've done it for both of the reprint sets so far. I mean, Vintage Masters didn't have a whole lot of stuff that they shifted down. Battle Screech probably being the biggest one, but it's always a possibility.
Chainer's Edict, also pretty
Chainer's
big.
Edict. And then Beetle Black Chief.
Oh, and that black creature, the Shriek Maw.
The target player sacrifices.
Yeah.
Predatory Night Stalker.
There you go.
Yeah, so that definitely was an all-star this round. So, yep. So I'm looking forward to that, even though I think it's weird that they're dropping that when they're cutting a lot of support to Modern. So, kind of an odd choice. Plus, I don't like that French lady very much. So.
I think Modern will explode in January because of the bannings that will come up, I think.
Mm-hmm.
What can they even ban at this point to make the format more healthy?
I think they'll ban just Treasure Cruise.
Do you think they're going to ban Cruise and not the Ascendancy?
How oppressive is Ascendancy right now?
I mean, if you watch any Worlds, the Modern round was all Ascendancy versus Red Blue Storm.
Yeah.
Okay, then Ascendancy will go as well, of course.
Yeah, it was crazy how many pros were playing Ascendancy because it was great, and how many pros were playing Storm because that was a great matchup against Ascendancy. So
no Delvers?
Shoot, I don't think anybody was playing anything with Delver. Wow. There was a couple junk mid-range decks. They call them all Abzan and all that stuff now, but they weren't playing Whips or any of the kind of dinky creatures. A couple of people were playing Pod because Pod's never going to die. But they play a value Pod now. They're not playing the Malaria combo anymore. So just playing Kitchen Finks for the ability to get it back and have a 4-drop. And so no Modern, I don't know, Brennan put the article up last week. I just think the card pool's too big for them to be able to print cards and have them fit into the format now.
Yeah, that's my biggest concern is if they're going to make cards, I would want them to concentrate on making cards for now. Yeah. If you keep all of the history in mind, you're dealing with 20 years of F-ups.
Yeah.
That you're having to think about. Forget that. Just concentrate on this. And if you need to ban stuff later for older formats, then there you go. But
I mean, you feel like when you see the cards, hey, these are the new cards. We're going to test them out in Standard to make sure Standard's not broken.
Mm-hmm.
But they can't go back. When they printed Jeskai Ascendancy, they weren't thinking about Gitaxian Probe and the Blue on Earth dude that nobody plays. Unless, you have that combo going. So, these cards that they're printing for Standard, there's no way that development or R&D can come up and go, hey, this card's going to be broken because of these 7 obscure cards that are in the Modern pool, and it's going to ruin the format. And you go back to the beginning of Modern, the beginning of the Modern card frame.
Mm-hmm.
Wizards didn't know they were going to make a format out of that when they printed Mirror. I mean,
right? Why are 8 and 9? I don't even understand why 8th and 9th edition are in there. I mean, I get it that they're within that time frame,
right?
But
I mean, they're both not strong sets either. I mean, I don't think anybody plays cards from them.
Well, the thing about that is there was a lot of overlap from older sets in 8 and 9. That the only reason they're in there. These are not going to be things that are going to be reprinted. But anyway, that's kind of a Modern rant. I think that...
Yeah, but I think it's important to remember how healthy Modern was right before Khans of Tarkir came out. Because it was a great format at that point.
Yeah, but cons. It's the reaction of the format to having basically an unstoppable combo deck in the format where people are playing combo to combat it. So
in the online meta, Birthing Pod is the number 1 deck.
Yeah,
really.
And Delver is number 2.
Wow. Yeah, this is
Scapeshift's number 3.
This was Worlds.
There was a Scapeshift deck, but Scapeshift it just can't keep up with the Ascendancy combo. I mean, you can win with that Ascendancy combo on turn 4.
Ascendancy is only number 8 online, with only 3% of the meta.
I wonder if it's just trickier to play online with all the clicking you have to do.
That could be it.
Yeah, because you can't say, I do this 100 times.
Yeah, you can't just show the loop and then your opponent concedes.
But isn't the loop very fast?
It would still take about 5 or 6 clicks because you got to bring stuff back to your hand. It's going to go on the stack. You got to okay it. You can't just say always yield because you're always removing stuff. And that part sucks.
It's at least 3 clicks, if not
Soul
4.
Sisters is number 10. Nice.
Awesome.
It's a strong deck. I mean, it's probably... I don't know if I would say it's the strongest White Weenie deck or if Death and Taxes is. But I think they're pretty close to neck and neck. Yeah, they are, but they still have that, like, heartbeat of White Weenie. So... playing the Hate Bears and all that good stuff. So I like them both. I mean, White Weenie is a good deck archetype most of the time in most of the formats. So
yeah, I played maybe 80 matches with Soul Sisters, and my final verdict was that it's an excellent beginner deck for Modern because it will just win against any aggressive deck and just lose against any control deck or any combo deck.
Yeah, I remember the Modern noob love for the Sarah Ascendants and so on. So.
The Modern noob was awesome.
But the control decks are gone.
Yeah, it's combo. And control is just not strong enough in Modern to keep up, it seems. I mean, you have to admit Remand is not the counter that you want against a combo deck.
No.
Yeah, put it back in the hand.
It doesn't get rid of the piece. I mean... So, but yeah, no, not that we talk about Modern on the Standard Pauper show, but I mean, that's a pretty big announcement over the weekend, especially since I thought that Wizards is kind of... Okay, so when you listen to the Drive to Work podcast, as kind of an aside, Mara was very matter-of-fact about the things that Wizards doesn't think is working. And they don't make an announcement when they're going to abandon something.
Right.
If you listen to the podcast about banding, which is very weird that the banding podcast is one of my favorite podcasts that he's done, because he talks about other mechanics and other abilities that Wizards basically has abandoned because they don't work like they want them to. And he brought up regeneration and protection. And then Brennan and I last week while we were talking, I went and I looked up protection. There's been like 2 protection cards printed since Innistrad.
Yeah, creatures so with protection from something. Yeah.
They've completely just like abandoned protection from colors, and they did it without any sort of like, hey, protection's not working, we're going to phase it out. They just abandon things that they think aren't working, and it felt like they were doing that with Modern. But Modern Masters 2015 obviously thinks they have some life there.
Yeah, but that's been in development for a while. They've already spent a lot of money on it. Even if they decided this past year that they're not going to support Modern, they've already put way too much time and effort into a complete set with the success of Modern Masters. And then they're going to charge $10 per pack, which is absurd.
Only $6.99 online, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we get to save $3 for some reason.
They need one. They need to support one Eternal format. And I think
Right.
the format for the foreseeable future will be modern. And I don't think they will try to reinvent it. So I would be very surprised to see modern go. Because if you don't have a supported Eternal format, then sort of the scam becomes obvious. And I think Magic would suffer a lot from that.
Oh, I'm not saying, even in my article, I'm not saying abandon modern, like, at all. What I'm saying is, future card development should not take modern into consideration, and should just be free to develop whatever it wants.
Yeah, I think they care very little about modern when developing new cards.
Yeah, because they can't really take all of modern into account. It's not possible. Like, we would get one set a year, and it would be incredibly boring. The set would
just be reprints.
Look at how well balanced Treasure Cruise and Jeskai Ascendancy are for limited and for standard.
Oh yeah.
I mean, nobody's playing Ascendancy
broken.
and Standard. I mean, it's just not that good of a card without free spells, without mana.
Nobody's playing blue in Standard, right?
Everybody splashes for Dig Through Time.
Yeah, Dig is really popular still. But I mean, the Standard portion of Worlds was a lot of Whip, a lot of Abzed mid-range.
DC decks.
That Whip deck is super powerful. I mean, just crazy good. The Hornet Queen is so good coming back out of the yard. It's insane. So, but I mean, yeah, Wizards, the two formats when they design now, they concentrate on Standard and they concentrate on Limited.
Yeah.
And see, that's just what they have to do. So
that's true. All right, well, guys, I got to get up in the morning and go to work. So let's wrap it up. MagicGatheringStrat.com is the website. Please visit. Also, this video, like and subscribe. We would love to have you as a subscriber. Twitter, @MagicGathStrat. For me, it's Cerulean says hi. Hello. And for Sam, it's SPO7677. All that's on the Twitter. Facebook /MagicGatheringStrat. Again, we'd like you to like and subscribe. So, for the Standard Pauper Show, I am Brennan.
I'm Sam. That's me, Sam.
I'm Dan.
And this has been episode 27 of the Standard Pauper Show. Beautiful.